Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're Aunt Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Grab a seat, prop your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Come on in now. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget now. Auntie Mickey's house. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house, make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice, respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh, yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. Auntie Mickey's house, that's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house, oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. On in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat. Come on in and hit the light. You're at Auntie Mickey's, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in her house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light. Oh, you're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie's house. Grab a seat, drop your feet, let's sip some tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. Auntie's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget Auntie Mickey's. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house, make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice, respect the vibe, let's share the word, oh yeah. From the jokes to the prayers, she keeps it real. That's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house, oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat. see, come on in and hit that light. Hit the light on your way to Auntie Mickey's. Yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house.
Hello, everybody. How is my kin folks doing up in here? Oh my God. This is getting crazier by the day. So much keeps coming out about this case, and it don't look pretty. It don't look pretty at all. I don't know what these folks think they fooling or who they think they fooling. But there's some people out there thinking that we stupid. And I'm sorry, I was born during the day, but it wasn't yesterday. I know that's been worn out, but I'm going to say it too. I think I've been saying it a lot longer than some. Oh my God, this case, this investigation is crazier than all get up. Nolan Wells, we gonna keep his name in our mouth until we find out what happened to Nolan. That's first and foremost before anything else. We gonna keep his name out there in the atmosphere until we get some definitive answers as to what happened to Nolan. And I know lawyers have to protect their clients. I understand that. That's why I never became one. Because I'm not going to stand for no lies. I'm not defending nobody that's done something wrong and then sit up there and lie on them. I mean, lie on others to keep my client from going to jail. I'm sorry, I can't. That's not in that's just not in my DNA. So, not knocking other attorneys. I'm not knocking them. And we all need attorneys at some point in time. But that's just not something that I could live with. To know that I'm defending someone who did something. And I'm not saying that the boys did. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they did anything in terms of doing something to him. However, and I'm going to keep saying this until the sun go down, back up again, and down again. When you move funny, you will be suspect. If your movements are funny or suspect type moves, you will be suspected. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. It's just your time. It's just your time. You know, I mean, life has been easy. And now it's not. That's just, it is what it is. Thank you, Cece. Thank you for putting that up there. Hello, Cece. Hello, Adventurous You. Hello, Dawn. Hello, No Ego. Doodle Bird. Hey, sweetie. How are you? How are you, sweetheart? You see, who else is here? Kendra. Hello, Kendra. Black Lion. Hello, mate. How are you, brother dear? And of course, my baby. My baby's here in the house. Gotta have that support. Because he knows what I go through trying to set up these shows. And man, I don't know how people can do it on a regular, on a daily. Hey, Smokey. Hello, sugar. Oh man, I'm happy now. Long time no see. Long time no see. I'm here to tell you. It's good to see you. So yeah, I'm back at it again, talking about Nolan. Actually, it's actually diverted from Nolan and focusing more on his. I can't stand the word friends in this particular situation because I don't view them as his actual friends. So I would have to, in my opinion, call them frenemies. Because if you let them tell it, they left him on that island, and a true friend wouldn't have done that. But I personally don't think that he was left on the island. I believe that he was out on that boat. Because we can't ignore that Cito call. We can't ignore it. We heard what we heard. Smokey says, I'm listening to you lounging by the pool. Child, that's where I need to be. Feet in the water. Hey, Camille. How are you, sweetie? Oh, my goodness. This case, I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. This case really is heavy. And to go through this and try to keep up with all the details is even heavier. But as you go through these details, and then you think of them parents, Jesus. You think of those parents and what they're still going through. I don't know if you guys even saw the video. I saw the video of when they were taking his body and putting it in the coroner van. And his mother Jesus. That shit triggered me so hard. The scream that came out of her mouth. They showed her literally screaming. And it took me back to 8 years ago when I was sitting on the side of the shore as they pulled my son out of the water. I know what that scream feels like. I can't imagine being her right now, because she don't know. She don't know what happened. She don't know what happened to her child. I know what happened to mine. I know mine drowned. I know. But she doesn't know. And to see her child in that body bag, it was so triggering, because that's the same thing I saw. And the scream that she let out on that dock. Oh my God. That took me back 8 years. And tomorrow's my baby's birthday. So you guys pray for me, okay? Because this one is hard. This one is hard to report on. But it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Something happened to that young man. Whew. Something happened to that young man. And his mama and his daddy need answers. They need closure. And right now, they're being treated so badly. Them young men that called themselves their son's friend is now dragging her. Thank you, Smokey. Them young men are actually getting on that public platform with Brandon Tatum, the race Batum, whatever you want to call him. They get up on that platform and literally disrespect that woman. And she's never said anything derogatory about them. Ever. I recall in the beginning, I remember her actually telling the public to leave those boys alone because people were coming to their conclusions very early. She just wanted to know what happened to her baby. And now fast forward, they're sitting up on a platform talking bad about this woman. And it's so disrespectful. Ain't no good coming to none of them if they continue that. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Okay, y'all, let me get my shit together. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to even go there like this, but when I think about that woman screaming, and it totally caught me off guard. But it took me 8 years ago. It took me back 8 years ago. And that scream is unlike any other scream. Whew. So you guys, prayers up for that family. Prayers up for that family. Mother, father, and the kids. And I hope to God, I know it'll never bring their child back, but I hope they sue as far as the moon and back. I hope they sue to the moon and back. And then some. Whew, Jesus. Well, I titled this video, Investigation Compromised, because there's things being said by people, attorneys, podcasters such as Chris Cuomo, that give me pause. They really make me think that somebody done told them something that they have no business knowing, but they say it with their chest. You know what I'm saying? They say it with such conviction that they believe it, and it causes me to think that, is there a leak in the house? I'm just saying. I honestly hope that the federal government just takes this out of the hands of the state of Mississippi completely. Because I don't think that justice will be served if it's kept there. There's too much power involved that has the capability of covering this up, and that needs to disappear. That needs to disappear right now. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Chris Cuomo said on, I think it was his latest interview, don't quote me on it, but it was very, very recent, within the last couple of days, I believe. And he indicated in this interview, he was actually interviewing Bart's attorney. And he stated with his own, I heard with my own ears come out of his mouth, that, according to his sources, who he will not reveal, he has information about the sealed autopsy and toxicology reports. How the hell would you have any information on those sealed reports unless somebody done leaked it to you? Now, I don't know if he was lying or if he was flexing. How are you going to have information that the parents don't have? Absolutely, Adventurous You said, I already said that. Too much going on. Too much procrastination. Absolutely. This thing has been jumbled and fucked up from the very beginning. When that sheriff came out and said, nothing to see here. Nothing. It's accidental drowning. We have no reason to believe there was foul play. And ain't picked up a pencil to investigate anything. Herbert says they are out there. The parents have it and know it's not going to help their case. What do you mean? They are out there. The parents have it and know it's not going to help their case. I don't understand what that means, sweetheart. Can you elaborate, please? But I do know this, that this case has been sloppily handled from the giddy up. Now, if they got it together later, that still doesn't take the bad taste away. Because now they ain't talking at all. No transparency whatsoever. And this is a worldwide case. They have the autopsy report. Who has the autopsy report? Herbert, you talking about the parents? Because according to what I've heard on the in the reports, that report hasn't been released yet. Not the state of Mississippi. The state of Mississippi said that they're not releasing anything until it goes before a grand jury. So the only autopsy report they have is their own individual one. So they may have theirs. You know, the one that they had someone do. The one that was done in D.C., the second one. But that first one, nobody's supposed to have that. Nobody. The parents don't even have it. The DA came out and said that this is going to stay sealed until it goes before a grand jury, and then they will decide if it goes any further than that. Not that you know what, Herbert, they probably did, but the toxicology report hasn't been completed yet. The autopsy report was incomplete and inconclusive because Mississippi withheld the neck structures, you know, the throat structures and the stomach and what else was that? The stomach and something else. I apologize because I'm not, my notes to that part are in the other room. But whatever the case may be, they withheld specific things. Lungs, thank you, Cece. The lungs and the stomach, which could have indicated drowning quickly. I mean, easily. That's one of the easiest things to detect. Drownings. But by keeping that throat structure, that could tell you something else. Yes, the esophagus, the larynx, trachea, that other bone that I can't pronounce. That area, and then not to mention the redness in the back of the head. And I think in an earlier live I indicated what my belief to that was caused by. That naked chokehold. That jujitsu naked chokehold. Where you take one arm and put it around the neck and the other arm and go around the back of the head and squeeze. Wouldn't break the skin. And that can cause asphyxia. Or even a hanging. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason that they kept those throat structures. There's a reason for that. But if this is in fact true, that Cuomo and others have gotten a little inside information, that's illegal. That's illegal as hell. Because this is supposed to be a closed investigation. Shouldn't nobody be knowing nothing but those that are doing the investigation. But let me get started here, because I don't want to hold y'all up all day. I'm going to go ahead and share. I watched Trent Out Loud today, and he's kind of long. We're on the same page. Okay. So let me go ahead and share this with you. But before I get started, let me do some house cleaning. Or not cleaning, housekeeping. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion here. But there's a catch. You got to be respectful. And when I say respectful, I mean no insults to the chat or me. Okay? Please do not be disrespectful in my house. My house, my rules. Now, if I want to cuss, I'm going to cuss in my own house. But I'm not giving you permission to cuss in my chat. If you want to cuss, go get your own channel. Start your own channel and you can cuss until the cows come home. Let me see. Time said, anytime an autopsy is performed and it is ruled a foul play or you know what I mean, a criminal investigation automatically stops. They do not investigate what happens. That's why this is going to the grand jury. Okay? It's just very odd that what it tells me is that it's not as cut and dry as they tried to make it out to be. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Thank you, Time. I appreciate that. Nupak Shakur. How are you, love? Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me get started on sharing this video with you. And I will be stopping the video periodically to add commentary so YouTube doesn't hit me upside the head. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, let's get started here on Trent Out Loud. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Okay, here we go.
Chris Cuomo sat down with Bart's lawyer, Russell Latino. This is where he, I think, accidentally leaks information that he has access to Nolan Xavier Wells' autopsy and toxicology report. Now, we'll get to that in a moment. However, I would like to just backtrack and let you guys know the ridiculousness that happened during this interview leading up to the revelation that Chris Cuomo has access to Nolan's state-ran sealed autopsy. Sealed. But Chris has access. Okay. I'm going to play a couple of clips for you. We're going to start off with the lawyer, Russell Latino, addressing the CETO call. And Chris says, the lawyer says, a version gets released by MDMS. It's not clear that is the original version.
That conversation from the sweetened audio, which sounds terrible, sounds like there's blaming and about Nolan waking up, and Nolan may well be there by the nature of this conversation. What is your position on the veracity of that sweetened audio?
That audio gets released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. A version of it, it's not clear that that was the original audio.
Excuse me, Mr. Latino, are you now questioning the authorities in Mississippi? Because when we do it, it's defamation. But now you're going to tell us the audio put out by the officials at MDMS, you are questioning if it's original?
That
Child, I am so sorry. I apologize. I so apologize. Kill Money, I completely agree with you. Okay, and I'll go so far as to step out on a limb and say this. I think it goes even deeper than that. And the reason I say that, okay, is that remember, Nolan wanted his phone back. Okay? Y'all follow me? Put a 1 in the chat if you understand where I'm going with this. Nolan wanted his phone. There was an altercation that was caught on video. And you can clearly hear Nolan saying, "Give me back my effing phone." Now, Trez or whatever his name is, he tried to step in and say, "Oh no, that was me." But Trez is about 2 feet tall. Let's be real. These two guys were standing face to face. Nolan was 6'2". So, I'm not buying Trez's story. But Nolan wanted his phone back. And something in my gut tells me that somebody didn't want whatever Nolan had on his phone to get out in the public. There was a lot of adults there on that island as well as children or minors, I'll put it like that. And yes, a lot of those minors were drinking in front of adults. So yes, parents are being, in my opinion, possibly being protected. Kill Money says, "One, but that's their lie. Anywhere else you getting booked. That's why I'm confused." Well, again, it's Mississippi. They have a tendency, they have a history of jacking things around to work in their favor. Whatever favor they want it to go, they're able to manipulate. But those days are over. I honestly believe that those days are about to be over. This story is too polarized for them to play in everybody's faces. Doodlebird said, "What happened to the adult that drove them to the island, or was there not an adult?" They never mentioned an adult bringing them to the island. But one would have to wonder, okay, Wyatt had 2 boats. Who was commandeering his boat? Number one, Bart had a boat, Wyatt had 2 boats, all these boats, and there's no adults. And these kids are drinking, and all these parents are out there just turning a blind eye to minors driving boats while intoxicated. Come on, man. I'm sorry. Let me start the tape back. I'm sorry. I get started and I don't know how to shut up. Hold on.
Audio gets released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. A version of it, it's not clear that that was the original audio.
Now, listen to Chris ask Russell Latino about Bart's potential implication in Nolan Wells' passing. You'll notice he asked Russell Latino 2 or 3 questions. He answers it, and then he asks him, "Hey, did anybody see your client, Bart, with Nolan while the boat was leaving?" Then you're going to see the deflection, and Russell Latino says, "Certainly not to my knowledge." Whoa, you had all the definitive answers before, but all of a sudden not to my knowledge, and then you smile?
Your client was not on a boat with Nolan Wells. He knew Nolan Wells. He was not with him. When your client got on the boat to help, Nolan Wells was not there. True?
That's correct.
Your client was not present when anything happened to Nolan Wells.
Now, here's the thing. Don't forget, this man is being paid to defend Bart. He's not being paid to defend the others. He is only Bart's attorney. So he's only going to be down for Bart. Just keep that in the back of your head. Because when Bart's name came up on that CETO call, he hurried up and lawyered up. And then allegedly, according to reports, he gave up 20 names.
Is that true?
Yes.
your client was never part of a conversation where other people were panicked about what had happened to Nolan Wells.
That's correct.
And no one saw your client with Nolan Wells while the boat was leaving.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not to my knowledge.
So,
yeah, I mean, certainly not to my knowledge.
So after Bart's lawyer answered those questions and avoids the last one, Chris now says, well, because you answered all those questions so definitively, you're basically saying that that CETO call doesn't matter. And then you'll hear him say, I'll just say my client had nothing to do with Nolan's passing. Again, avoiding the direct question if the CETO call matters or not.
So then it doesn't really matter what the sweetened audio says unless there was another guy with the same name as your client who was on that boat at a different time. Other than that, your suggestion is it cannot be accurate.
Yeah, I will just say again that my client had nothing to do with Nolan Wells.
Oh, the deflection does not stop there, people. Chris now says, does Bart remember the last time he saw Nolan on the island? Bart's lawyer completely avoids the question because he's like, okay, I know I've been ducking and dodging, but let me just completely avoid it now. Then he starts talking about Bart being 21 years old.
Does your client remember the last time he saw Nolan Wells at the event? Does he remember the last time he saw him there?
Yeah, what I would say on that is he has told me that he did see Nolan that day, but that they really didn't interact that day. One of the things to appreciate here is that my client is 21 years old.
Does he remember the last time he saw him there?
Okay, now let's get to the most important clip from this interview where Chris talks about the autopsy.
Now, I am hearing from sources that I will protect close to the investigation that
Y'all caught that, right? From sources I will protect. From sources I will protect. You're talking about a closed investigation. So, what are you talking about? What sources are you protecting? Okay.
the investigators do have more information
Listen to this.
From their autopsy. You have also heard that they know things about the first autopsy.
There are things that I know that I think the average person doesn't know.
I think there are things that I know that the average person doesn't know that are.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that shit? They both up here flexing. Neither one of them supposed to know anything about what's in those autopsy reports and toxicology. That's supposed to be held sealed. But somebody's out here flexing for clicks and views or something. I don't know. Yes, time. He did say that. He knows things that the average person doesn't know. You really telling on your sources, man. You may not be dropping names, but you dropping the fact that you got some sources that ain't got no business talking.
Not points of speculation.
All right, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but notice how Chris just flexed his muscles there to say like, oh, well, I have more knowledge than the average person. That just lets you know that he is more concerned with leaking this information for clicks, for views, for his notoriety than he is trying to solve the case. Because if you have this information, why aren't you telling Nolan's parents about it? Why are you on here telling the YouTube? And why are you here flexing that like, well, I know more than the average person? Chris?
They found evidence of water in tissue and cavities consistent with drowning. That there was water there, but it is not conclusive. I am being told it is consistent.
There you have it, folks. Chris Cuomo is letting you know that the autopsy results that are sealed, that the DA promised would go right to the grand jury and not leak out to the public. We still have zero information from Ben Crump that any of this is even going to the parents or any lawyers, but Chris Cuomo knows the results are drowning. Okay. Now, I am not even going to go in further into what he says because he tries to kind of backtrack it a little bit and trying to clean up his stuff. No, Chris, we know that you have privileged information that's supposed to be sealed, and we want to know how you got that.
How you got
it. He doesn't only talk about the autopsy. Chris also has information of the toxicology report.
Also, the toxicology early on shows a significant level of blood alcohol, the BAC level, as they call it in the body.
Now, I'll address that alcohol blood content thing in a minute.
Wow.
Listen to when Chris now asks Russell Latino, Bart's lawyer, hey, you heard the same thing about the toxicology report. Watch him come out now and be like, okay, I'm not even going to deflect. I'm just going to come out and tell you, Chris, I want no parts of this. You go down on your own. I was going to say sinking ship, no pun intended, but you go on that hill by yourself, bro.
You have also heard that. Am I correct, counsel?
I'm going to wait till the pathologist puts out.
Smart dude.
Now, let's address the toxicology information that Chris has. Okay, so suppose he did have alcohol in his system. What about Jax? What about Bart? What about Warren? What about them? What did they have in their system?
Now, you see the picture that they're trying to paint of Nolan? You see the picture they're trying to paint of him? Oh, yeah, he was drunk. He had drugs in his system and da-da-da. Like he was just sitting off in a corner somewhere by himself doing all this. Come on now. Where'd he get it from? What adult bought the alcohol? Let's start there. Let's start right there. And these other three were conveniently not taken in, interrogated, and tested. That's that white privilege. Let me keep going.
Oh, that's right. We will never know what was in their system July the 4th because they were never arrested. They were never tested. Nothing. It's been 31, 32 days and they're just walking around. Oh, yeah, they answered some questions. If you would have arrested them, you would have been able to test them for these things. I'm not saying they're guilty,
but let me tell you this. If it was the other way around, let's be real. If it was the other way around, especially in Mississippi, if them were 3 black dudes and a white boy, do you really, really think them brothers wouldn't have been hauled in right away? They would have been hauled in so quick, they might still be sitting there right now. Because that privilege comes with money. That money pays your way out. Whether it's on the legal side or otherwise. Shady deals go down all the time when you got money and you're privileged.
But there was enough grounds to at least arrest them, and you would have known what was in their system. But now the headlines, according to Chris, when it comes out, is going to be Nolan had alcohol, and now when you mix it in with the drowning, it's going to come out and say, well, he was drinking, whatever, he drowned, he just did this to himself. And now you know that Chris Cuomo has been compromised. He's over on the TMZ side, he's over on the Bart side, and that is where Chris has decided to sit. This is clear after this interview. Like I said, why weren't the boys tested? How come we're not going to know what was in their system?
And not only that, let me just say this. If he's got information, if he's got privileged information that he has no business having, because this is an open investigation, chances are others do too. Kill Money, please, sweetheart, please don't cuss in the chat, okay? I understand that you're passionate about it. I am too. But please don't cuss in the chat, okay, sweetheart? I appreciate it, love. But I totally understand what you're saying. I feel you. I feel you for real. Satin said, look at Warren now. He looks if he has nothing, absolutely nothing in his system. Yeah, Warren looked like he's really depleted. It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay, Kel. It is okay. I totally understand. But yeah, if you look at Warren in the last interview, well, tonight is part 3, I think. Yeah, part 3. Them first 2 interviews, part 1 and 2, my God, Warren looked like he's literally like borderline anorexic. I mean, for real, for real. I'm going to keep my own thoughts on that one. But you know, sometimes God has a way of reminding you.
It's gonna come out. Nolan was the crazy one, right? The one black guy in the crew, he was the crazy one drinking. Y'all were cool, right? Okay. Please do not allow Chris Cuomo to go unchecked. Chris, where did you get this information from about the autopsy and the toxicology report? What are the leaks? Where are the leaks? This is supposed to be sealed. And Chris, why, if you have this information, since you're such an ally, because you've had Ben and you had Christine and Elmore on your show, and you pledged to them that you want to try to find the truth and you want information, why don't you go to them instead of going to your YouTube subscribers? That is a question I want to know. Okay. Now we're done with Chris. Let's move on to former Officer Coward, the new lawyers, and the fact that they went to the island over again on the weekend, and the interview.
Okay, I think I'm gonna skip this part of Trent out loud because I do have the interview with Tatum, and what he's basically saying we're gonna cover in the actual interview. Okay, but yeah, I just it kills me. Warren, first of all, let me just say about this interview. Warren sits his bony ass sitting up there with his chest out, dry boasting that he's so glad that he was the first to call the Coast Guard. And that shit was absolutely laughable. You did not call the Coast Guard. Look how long ago how long it took for him to call the Coast Guard. When he had an opportunity for the Coast Guard to show up, he declined the Coast Guard. So let's be real with that. Uncle Tatum. Okay, Uncle Tatum. Uncle Ruckman. Uncle whatever we can call him. I'm going to come up with all kind of names for him because he gets on my last nerve. Adventure says compromise case. That's why I feel it's going to end in another way. Okay, Don Paul. Maybe you wasn't here when I instructed the chat. Don't cuss in my chat and don't disrespect the chat or the platform, okay? I'm going to give you one chance. If you disrespect my chat again, I'm going to kick your stank ass up out of here. I'm giving you one chance. You're free to have an opinion, but don't come in here trolling. Take that back to your ancestors. And that goes for you too, Phyllis Tao, or whatever your name is. If you knew anything about racism for real, you would probably know that black people cannot be racist. You have to have power. That is a power thing too. So don't fuck around and find out with me. I'll kick your stank ass up out of here and talk about your mama on your way out. So please don't make me go there. I'm not having it. Okay. Let me stop this video with Trent. Okay, so like I was saying, Warren got up on his high horse and, claiming that he's so glad that he was the one to call the Coast Guard, and you didn't call the Coast Guard until 11 o'clock after you talked to Nolan's mother, for one thing, several hours after leaving the island, and you had Nolan's cell phone as well. Cussing is for me to do, Tanya. It's my house, so I get to reserve the right to cuss. Me only. My rules, if y'all don't like my rules, you are free to leave. It doesn't make me no difference. But you're free to stay and speak your opinion, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. Okay? Oh, Jesus. I'm going to stop reading this chat in a minute because I got a show to do. But yeah, he actually called Nolan's mom, knowing that he had the cell phone, asking Nolan's mom, have you heard from Nolan? How you going to hear from Nolan and you holding on to his phone? Wrong. But yet you still continue to attack her. That's the thing that bothers me. Okay. And then these other dudes come up from some proverbial rock for the first time on this platform, and they start talking crazy too. Nolan's mom came out blasting us from the get-go. When? When did she blast you? While you was sitting up there, your scared ass was hiding up under a rock somewhere. This your first time coming up from up under that rock. So please take several seats. Leave Nolan's mama alone. This is called the profile of arrogance of white privilege. That's what that is. Oh, really? Dizzy kids. Okay, well, take your dizzy ass up out of here. How about that? I'm not giving no more warnings. I'm not giving no more warnings to you racist ass people. When are blacks going to learn how to swim? When y'all going to learn how to do some things on your own other than steal, kill, and destroy? Bye. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Yeah, they go into that victim mentality. Yep. Tatum asked a very specific question during this interview that I hope you guys catch, okay? He asked him a very specific question. He says, have you any examples of what has happened to you? Have you had anything online, threats online? Do you have any examples of people accosting you? He actually said the word accosting twice. So, he put emphasis on that word. So he says, have you had anything like that? And he said examples twice as well. So he was clear on what he was saying. So he wanted specific examples on their experience of the threats that people were putting on the boys, or young men, I'm sorry. And let me put the definition of accosting up here, because maybe some don't know. Maybe some of these people that are coming in here talking all this shit, maybe they don't know what accosting means. So let me put it up for those that may not know, because they're so busy trying to rage bait. Hold on a second. Now, according to ChatGPT, accosting means approaching someone and speaking to them in a bold, aggressive, or unwanted way, often unexpectedly. Okay, hold on just a second here. My mods, load up your you know what's. You have all permission to aim fire when they get out of line. CC, who else? I think I got at least, Satin is a mod. So anybody that's a mod in here, please do what you got to do. I'm cool with it. Because they going to F around and find out today. Okay. The definition, accosting, the verb, is the act of approaching and addressing someone, especially in a way that is forceful, confrontational, or unwelcome. Examples would be, she was accosted by a stranger asking for money. The reporter accosted the celebrity outside the restaurant with difficult questions. Or the man was accused of accosting pedestrians on the street. While accost can simply mean to approach and speak to, in modern English, it usually carries a negative connotation, suggesting that the interaction was unwanted, intimidating, or intrusive. Okay, so that's the definition of accosting someone, just in case someone didn't know, because he did use that word twice. Okay, thank you, Mr. Phillips. I appreciate you. And FVR Blessed, Favor Blessed, 888. Thank you so much for the 10 jewels and the 2 jewels. I really appreciate you, love. Thank you so much. Bless your heart. Okay. Now, I thought I got rid of this. Let me get this off the stage. Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay, y'all, I had to find my place. So the first kid answered, "We've had countless threats online." Then spotted, now this is a quote, then passed it off to Warren to answer, which I thought was kind of odd. He couldn't answer the question in full. He just kind of passed it off to Warren. And Warren's answer basically danced around searching for something to say, and then said people pointing us out. People have obviously just pointed us out as a group and even on a one-on-one setting. And I think it's really just awkward because I really don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. We're still mourning one of our best friends' death and blah, 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 blah. I was like, what the hell? Did he not understand the question? I mean, come on, examples of your problems, sir? So why do you do these interviews? What is the purpose of interrupting your mourning process? Okay, if you're in mourning, why are you interrupting your mourning process, whatever that may or may not be? And then go on and on, never giving any specific example of being accosted. Never. He never gave any example. So Tatum, he tried to help him out by mentioning Treston's experience in the store, where Treston went in to try to buy a Gatorade, and I guess the clerk refused to sell it to him, saying your money's no good here. Warren can only come up with, well, I can't say anything like that. I haven't been denied anything, but blah, 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 blah. So basically, they insinuate threats, but are not able to produce examples of threats or proof of online threats, in person or otherwise. So the rambling was crazy. It was crazy. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to get these things off the screen. There we go. So basically, these privileged guys don't want to be talked about. They don't want to be side-eyed. They don't want to be questioned or made the slightest bit uncomfortable. Okay? Warren said, "Why would we call the Coast Guard?" You didn't call the Coast Guard. You turned down Cito's offer to call the Coast Guard. And simultaneously at that time, Wyatt's grandpa is talking to the captain, telling the dispatch not to send anyone. Now, they supposed to be sinking, though. They supposed to be sinking. But you turned down the Coast Guard? Yeah, okay. They don't need it now. He said, don't bother, don't send nobody. They don't need it now. But just stand by, just in case, in case they need you. And apparently they said, they denied the tow, but inevitably got a tow by someone else. Okay. I guess they didn't want Cito specifically to tow them. And you guys can come up to your own conclusion with that one. Okay. Because mind you, Grandpa also sells memberships to Cito. So he is, in the inside with Cito. Okay. So, in my opinion, this case has just been mishandled from the very start. And like I said, the sheriff started it off saying accidental drowning. Okay. But here's my question. Has anyone even realized that the only one we're not hearing from publicly is Katie? Has anything been said publicly from Katie? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard anything about Katie, because she seems to be a very integral part of this story. And I'm wondering, maybe I missed it. I can't always watch these interviews and stuff. So again, I might have missed it. Has anybody heard from Katie? Last thing I heard, Katie was cooperating. That's all I heard. So maybe they are doing something on the up and up. Okay. Cece says, only one thing, claiming she claims nothing. Crazy. That's crazy. Oh, Lord. But if he drowned, the state would have said so long, if he really drowned, I believe the state would have said so a long time ago. Keeping those throat structures, as well as his lungs and stomach, tells another story. Exactly, Adventurous You. It's gotten so garbled, so mishandled. And I think that's by design, honestly. Okay. But I do know this. Holding that throat, those throat structures, the real cause of death could be right there, could be answered right there, but they don't want that answer out there. That's a good question, Big Mac. Don't know. Do not know. Okay. But what kills me is this give, send, go. I believe, that they've set this up, even though they said that they're setting this up so they can go after content creators. Something tells me that they might be low-key scared and raising money for defense. Not going after content creators, because you're going to have a lot more money than $200,000 to go after all the content creators and the people in the chat and anybody else that might be speaking their mind about it. Because you're going to have to prove, you're going to have to prove some shit. Okay. But The other thing they could possibly be raising that money for is to put toward that civil lawsuit that may very well be coming their way from the parents. Because, oh yeah, they got grounds. They got grounds. We may not know the specific grounds, but they got grounds. You know, words do matter. And I know I heard one of them boys say, I wish this never happened. Or I wish we never went out on the 4th of July. Wish what never happened? Can you be more specific? I wish this never happened. You know, they said that they picked up Nolan. He didn't drive himself. They picked him up. This is how I always got the vibe when they referred to Nolan. I mean, it just sticks with me. They spoke of him, even though they always said he was like a brother to us. When they were really talking about him, they would say little slick shit like, yeah, Nolan was, always trying to come around us. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. The podcast, I believe, is to saturate the social media and influence their local township people, because those are the people that are going to be used for the jury. Yeah, the grand jury. Yeah. And that's another thing to consider. Tainting the jury pool. Absolutely. Satin said, like I said, the content creators are like metal detectors on the beach, uncovering everything. Absolutely. It's amazing. It really is amazing to see. Because like I said before, this was not out there in mainstream media initially. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this video, okay? I done talked enough about it. I should have just played it, but please forgive me. I get started and I don't know how to shut up. So please forgive me. Hold on just a second, please. Let me get my screen ready so I can share. And like I said, I'm going to stop periodically to commentate. Is that a word? Give commentary. And I want to make this to where you guys can see the full screen. Okay.
Why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody?
You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie.
If you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts, first, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, as it's rolling, not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom on the floor?
Listen to some of the things that these guys say. I mean, it's like giving these Signal. Yes, I did see that the hand signals and stuff like that, the eye contacts. Y'all pay very close attention. If you haven't seen this interview, pay very close attention, because they doing some serious baseball signals. Yes, baseball signals. They're kids, so that's not the dumbest thing they could do. This whole part and more missed me off because they are playing in our face. Exactly. But yeah, it's the signals and stuff like that, especially from that attorney. Why is he dressed like that? I mean, hey, you dress how you want to dress, but dude, you're the attorney. You ain't their buddy. You're not their buddy. And I would take this interview a little bit more seriously if it wasn't so highly edited. Now, you really want to impress somebody? Do it live. Do it live. Y'all smart. You ain't as smart as Nolan was, but you're smart, I guess. Time says no one shed a tear, and they were more up there talking about making themselves look innocent than it being about Nolan Wells, their friend, their so-called friend. Yes, they did have smirks. They were even chuckling at some point. Jay Brown said, "It's in their blood. They can't help it." Hey, if it looked like a duck, and it walked like a duck, and it quacked like a duck, what is it? It's a doggone duck. I'm waiting for somebody to stand up and start quacking in a minute on this video. Do it live with callers. I don't know if the callers, that would be a bit much. That would be a bit much. MDW said, "Where's the energy for Chicago, Baltimore, Memphis, etc.? No accountability." What do you mean? This didn't happen in Chicago, Baltimore, and Memphis. That's why we're not talking about Chicago, Baltimore, and Memphis. But trust and believe, anything that happens anywhere, when it comes to light, it'll be addressed. Unfortunately, this shit is happening so much. It's really hard to keep up with. You know what, MD, whatever your mad dog, your mama, get up out of my chat and go start your own channel. Do that. Disrespectful. Your mama clearly didn't teach you no manners. Hold on just a second. Oh, I just booted his ass out of here, so let me, Piffy. Thank you, sweetheart, for the 10 jewels. Thank you. I appreciate you. Raymond says malice is in their DNA. Let's continue.
Or something, or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at them or something. I mean, it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail?
Why would you go on an interview 3 times, 4 times? Why would you do that? I mean, you're asking, why would you do this? Why would you do that? As if that would exonerate you. I mean, why would we do this? Why would we do that? As if that would excuse you? No, that doesn't excuse you. The fact that you're pointing all that out further makes me look at you crazy. Why would you continue to get up on a podcast with a coon? With a coon. Tap dancing Tatum. You picked the right one, didn't you? Man, miss me. We see the play.
Still yet. I mean, we're not geniuses.
You sure ain't.
We can't. There's no way we could have done a murder.
We
I mean,
couldn't
there's no
have-
way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people.
Nobody said you did.
Go ahead.
Nobody said they did. Did anybody in this chat say that they did? No. We're saying that your movements are suspect from the very onset of this situation. The fact that you're hiding everything but the right things. Like, why don't you go have a seat and let this thing play out the way it's supposed to play out like normal? See, you guys are so privileged that you think that you can control the narrative even now. If you're innocent, then let your attorney do his job. You don't have to do your attorney's job. That's his job. What's the point in paying an attorney if you're going to get up there and do more talking than him? You tell on yourselves every time. Stacy says, why aren't you in jail? That's what we want to know. Hello. Pippi says, exactly, all of that asking questions back. They're ridiculous. Harry says, they know something. They sure act like that. They sure act like it, don't they? They sure act like they know something. And cocky with it, too. Okay, Betty, you on that? Betty called it out. Okay, it's time for you to speak now. just like we practiced it. William said, they different down in Mississippi. This isn't the only black that got found unalive. Exactly. What's going on, police detectives? What's happening? Exactly. They can't keep up with it all, or should I say they're not trying to keep up with it all. We'll just put it like that. Because they certainly didn't in a million years think that they would be in this position right now. That police sheriff honestly believed that he could come out to those cameras an hour, not even an hour after Nolan's body surfaces, under the strangest of circumstances at that, and say, oh, nothing to see here, basically. It was just an accidental drowning. Too many people on the higher end of their society in that little town seem to have this God complex. That's what it feels like, you know. That's what it feels like to me. You know, we running around here. We running things down her. Don't you come up in our town trying to tell us what to do. Yes, Dudeberg, cocky. That's not a cuss word. Oh, Uncle Wiggly says, haha, you're retarded. But you got the name Uncle Wiggly. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Man, oh man. The level of disrespect. Oh boy. William said, oh, there was definitely a phone call made before they made that 911 call. Probably 2 calls made even. Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't the judge out there snap fast and in a hurry at the beck and call to help the boys. Who was allegedly helping to clean the boat in the middle of the night? So you don't talk about that much either. There's a whole lot. They don't really talk about it so much because there's so much that surfaces on a daily basis. Harry Dirty says the system took him out, and these boys are also scared they got dragged into it. High society cults, KKK. Yeah. Hey, Mississippi burning. That's right. Get out of my head. Get out of my head, Harry. Van said, look how all them dress, though. And the attorney. Boy, I tell you. But this is crazy. WP says a lot of black people getting suspiciously unalived lately around this country. You're absolutely right. And it's sickening. It's sickening. That young lady last week, 29 years old, hanging from a tree behind a vacant house for 3 or 4 days. Man. I haven't accused them of anything, Cat Black. I have to first accuse them of something. And they have to then, if I were to accuse them of something, they would have to prove, or I would have to prove that it was true. That's why I haven't accused them of anything. I've given my opinion, but I haven't accused them of doing anything specifically. I just said that their behavior has been suspicious, and that's a fact. That's a bona fide fact. So no, I'm not concerned about that. Not at all. Michael Hull says the girl they found hanging was unalived by a black man. They arrested him already. Oh, okay. I didn't know about that, Manny. I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't know that. So I'll look it up. It still doesn't negate the fact that black people are being unalived on a high scale lately in a manner of which has been historically practiced by white supremacists. The method is what has been very polarized. Okay, Cat Black, you want to tell me why? What specifically did I say that would cause them to sue me? Can you tell me that? Because I haven't accused them of doing anything. I didn't say they did anything. I don't know who, if any, did anything to Nolan. I believe something was done to him, but I don't know who did it. I have no idea what was done because we don't know the results of the autopsy. I'm sorry, the manner in which he lost his life. We don't know those specifics. What I'm saying is that his so-called friends have acted suspiciously from the giddy-up. That is a fact. And I am giving reasons as to why we believe that they have been acting suspiciously. Those are facts. I didn't accuse his friend. Man, get out of my damn chat. Get the fuck out of here. You guys are corny. Let me get back on this.
I think, especially about the Cito call, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. I think half these people, or not half these people, but some of these people you can't convince, regardless. They're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, and it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you can see me, I'm sitting on the bow. If there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito? It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is, why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it. The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So it's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and also join our membership program. Let's get back to the interview. And if you guys could say one thing to naysayers out there, in your opinion, that are naysayers, I would give you, a 30-second opportunity to say what you would want to say to people regarding what you're saying are lies that have been told about you. And I could start here and we'll go all the way down to, and we'll end with you, Ed. But Morgan, if you had an opportunity to have this projected to everybody in the United States of America, many people who have made statements about you and about what occurred that day, what would you say to them? Like just a 30-second, this is what you would want to convey.
First I would say that, it's proven in evidence that they're all lies. I think that most of these people are just going to, I say most of these people, a lot of these people that have posted stuff out there, they've just been lies backed by no evidence. And if I had one thing to say to them, I'd say, do your research before you go out saying something that's not true.
Do your research on what? You are the research. What are you talking about? You're putting yourself out here on a public platform to be scrutinized. If you don't want to be scrutinized, then don't get up on the platform. What do you mean, do your research? I don't understand that one. Maybe he don't understand what research means. I don't know. Okay. But it's funny because the video that Tatum provided, he provided this video, and Trent Out Loud requested this info a week ago, asking for the metadata on that video because Brandon standing firm that this is evidence that Nolan wasn't on the boat. Okay, can you provide the metadata as proof that this picture was taken that particular day? He has yet to do that. And it's been over a week. Okay, let's go.
That could hurt someone. Just do your research. It's easy. All you have to do is just scroll like they do all day long.
Scroll what?
And find the evidence that's right in front of their face.
Evidence where?
It'll prove its own facts.
Okay, this guy sounds really, remedial. What evidence what are you talking about? Scroll and find what evidence? You have yet to provide a lick of evidence. All we've had is words from them. You know what? Half of these folks that come in here are racist trolls, so you guys please pay them no mind, okay? There we go.
I would want to add on to that, do the proper research. Sort through all the lies. I mean, and a lot of these stuff, like you can just tell straight off the bat it's lies. And for one, it's defaming us, and for two, it makes you look like a dummy. I mean, like, you're just saying stuff, just pulling it out of who knows where, and you just look like an idiot on your phone making this TikTok or whatever. Like, do your research, man. Like, if you can't simply do that, don't get on your phone and start making a video.
It's just kind of concerned me with like how people have the time of day to just make up complete lies out of something that they have no evidence of, and to post on social media to put other people down. It's insane to me, like how, like, just people push this and, you know, want to make this a story that it's absolutely not. I don't know what happened to Nolan. My friends don't know what happened to Nolan. But for people to come around and say, oh, this happened for a fact, and I know this, and there's no telling me otherwise.
Okay, hold on a minute. Mulchman, who are you talking to? So I'm a racist troll because I don't agree 100%. I wasn't calling you no... Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Because I didn't call you no racist troll. I was talking about someone else that I kicked out of here that said something very racially offensive. And like I said, you guys can have an opinion, but you can't come in here and be disrespectful to the other people in the chat.
Then that's just stupid. You have no, like, half these people that are saying all these crazy things on the internet, those lies have already been debunked. There's evidence supporting this is a lie. Like, why are you still saying this? These people just have no idea what they're talking about. And it's very clear because a lot of these people just speak without thinking and post stuff without thinking. But at the end of the day, it just looks really stupid on their page and whatever they're posting on. But it's just sad. Like, people really take the time.
So we're not supposed to react to what they say. Is that what it is? Mohammed said he's a racist. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, okay. Okay, Piffy. Thank you for clarifying that. Because I'm like, wait a minute. What? He didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing to him. Okay. Hold on. I got to catch up. Timu. Piffy, you're funny. I'm trying to understand what they're bitching and moaning because people are reacting to the things that they're saying and doing on this platform. I mean, why are you up there? What are you trying to prove innocence by, Jesus. I just don't get it. They're young. I'll just give them that much.
I'm out of their day to post a bunch of BS lies on a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds who have never done anything to hurt anyone and, loved their friend. Like, I love that man more than anybody. And like, so did all of my friends. And it's absolutely horrible that these people want to come on and push this narrative that we had something to do with this or we killed our best friend. It's just sick to me, Brandon. That's it.
They loved him so much, but this is coming from the same guy that kind of low-key complained that Nolan was always tagging around them, tagging on to them. Wow. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this might be too long, but I have a few things I need to add.
Oh boy,
First
here
of
we
all,
go.
with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard, to call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did. Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts. He got back and he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you?
And he indicated that he called the Coast Guard after he spoke with Nolan's mother after 11 o'clock at night. He claims the last time he laid eyes on Nolan was 3 o'clock that afternoon. You had Nolan's phone in your possession, and you called the mother to ask if she had heard from him, knowing that you had his phone, knowing that you didn't even tell her you had the phone. As a matter of fact, she was calling his phone, and it continued to ring and ring and ring. And if you had the phone, that means that you were ignoring the rings. That's a safe thing to deduce, right? I mean, that's pretty safe to deduce. Hoo-wee. Well, one thing is for sure. The proof is definitely in the chat today, isn't it? Yeah, it's still alive and well. Okay.
All right, now these are all American young men, incredible young men.
Incredible.
And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after
did
the
a lot
fact.
of
And they did the
heroic
best they could. And they tried for their dear friend. All of their actions
Even go out there
are
really
the actions of innocent
at
men,
night.
not guilty men.
But that was
And again, they're
heroic.
categorically, completely, and totally innocent. All right, but that's not the end of it.
This guy just met them, okay? He just met them. He's getting paid to say these things, so I can't really take what he says with much of a grain of salt. I just, he's just paid to do that. That's his job. And considering who he used to work for, yeah, this is one of Trump's old boys here.
I'll say this again.
Say it again.
If you lied, you won't be able to hide. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. And you're going to be held accountable.
Is
and
that
if you
a
lied
threat?
about these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to be held accountable. You're going to be sued.
For what?
I'll tell you, there are going to be lawsuits.
Okay.
Because we have already identified some of the worst offenders.
Worst offender.
And it may have felt good for them in the moment, instant gratification, sugar high. They got their sugar high. But long after that sugar high wears off, they're going to find themselves in court. And it's going to be excruciatingly painful.
It's going to be painful.
The only thing I can say about that is it won't be quite as painful as what they did.
Is that
Morgan,
a threat?
Jax, and Warren.
Is that a threat?
So Ed, I got one question for you, because the way you guys articulate the defamation, obviously, if someone puts out online lies, knowingly and intentionally do them, knowing that they're lies, in part, that's a part of the defamation. But is the racial component, because when someone goes out and says things without evidence,
there's a
projecting that this was a racial encounter, is that a part of this defamation, or does that not count as far as your tactics on defending them or defending their honor, I guess, in this situation?
Well, one thing that we're never going to do is we're never going to speculate and we're never going to guess like some other folks who got their sugar highs and are sucking up all the oxygen in the room for now, and they'll have their day in court. But we can talk about what might motivate people. And I won't talk about any particular people because I am not inside their head right now. But I can tell you that racism for profit is a major factor here. And we don't have to name names. But racism for profit, generating outrage for profit, in the end, it's all about money. And we don't even have to think about whether the racism that these people are talking about is real or fake or anything like that. It's racism for profit. And it's part of the motive.
Racism for profit. That's interesting. The Tommy says everyone needs to shut up and wait for all the facts. Every one of y'all are giving theory without knowing the facts. All for views and clicks. You people are pathetic. That's funny coming from someone who's sitting in my damn chat watching this whole thing. So I guess you're pathetic too. But let me help you. You don't have to stay here and watch or listen any longer. Okay? See ya. Let's keep it pushing.
But when you have offenders who defame innocent young men, fine innocent young men, upstanding young men,
oh my God,
it might be a constellation of motives. Profit, animus, stupidity,
so he's allowed to have
ignorance.
Allowed to have opinions.
Maybe they just don't like evidence.
No.
See, we really like evidence here. Tyler Cox really likes evidence.
I'm sure you do. How'd your job with Trump work out for you? Barbara Edwards, congratulations on the 11 months anniversary. Barbara says they're the racists. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna take that down, boo. Like I said, everybody has an opinion, and we're entitled to our opinion as long as we're not being disrespectful. Okay? To those in the chat or me up on this platform. You can have an opinion. But the moment you step out of line, you out of here. Click on this.
Really like evidence.
There we go.
Morgan, Jax, Warren, we really like evidence. And that's the difference between the other guys and us. And we have evidence. We have the receipts. We have the goods. And we're going to be presenting it in court. And I will say, once we present it in court, we're going to say, now you just can't leave.
D user is absolutely right.
Do you think that the other side, because I've seen through social media.
D user said saying someone is guilty of murder, I can't say the word here on YouTube, with no facts is disrespectful. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
That there's a preparation of lawsuits against the boys. Is there merit, according to your knowledge in this space, is there merit to pursuing lawsuits against them?
I am so glad you asked that question because I can answer that question definitively and unequivocally. Anybody who sues Jax, Warren, or Morgan, they're going to end up paying our attorney's fees. Guaranteed. Any lawsuit, and I'm going to warn anyone right now, anybody who is thinking for 1 second about suing these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people.
This is the part that kills me. They're the ones that went out there and started this Give, Send, Go account under the premise of going after content creators. Let that sink in. And the reason that they selected Give, Send, Go is because GoFundMe has stricter rules on how you're to use the money that's raised. But you want to accuse other people of profiting off of this situation. I don't know nobody on this app that's raised $200,000, let alone 200. Nancy said, it's not racism for profit. It's not racism for profit. Is a black young man whose stomach and throat were cut off and his best friends had his phone and his keys and went to sleep like nothing happened. That's fact. That's fact. Tana Baby says, no one said that, but you're in an interview about unaliving you and your friends possibly did. Sounds like facts to me. Or people perceive them to. You know, if you move a certain way and you give off that impression, if you put yourself out there like that, what do you expect people to do? To critique. You can't throw a rock and then hide your hand and claim to be a victim. That's not going to fly. Hey, doggy boy. Boston in here. Okay. I'm trying to catch up with some of these comments. Doggy said, hey girl. Hi girl. Dexter says, you don't like facts. You believe what you want to hear. I'm taking in everything that I hear. And if it's not fact, I don't treat it like fact if it's not fact. I treat it as an opinion. That doesn't necessarily mean that whoever has an opinion is wrong. People got plain and common sense too. But I believe, honestly, if there is any wrongdoing amongst these young men, somebody will crack. If there is any wrongdoing amongst these young men, someone will crack. Okay? And that's if. Hold on a second.
You're going to pay their attorney's fees. You're going to lose. You're going to get annihilated. You're going to get crushed. You have nothing.
Okay.
And here's the beauty of it. We know you have nothing because we actually have the evidence. We know what happened.
Good attorneys don't.
And I'll just say it like this. We have a pair of aces
like that with their,
and you have 2-7 offsuit.
He's not very professional.
So with all the negative that's going on, obviously there's been positive that I've seen that have come y'all's direction. I felt like when Warren came out and did the interview the first time, of course, a lot of people decided to say a lot of negative things, but then there's a tremendous amount of people that were very supportive and thankful that they had a chance to hear the other side. So what are y'all's thoughts and feelings on the other side of this, where people have been supportive? You know, kind of what are your thoughts on that? What have you experienced in that area?
I want to start off and just say that has helped us tremendously through this. One, mentally knowing that there are people on our side that are here to help and want to help and are actually helping with the online stuff. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has made a video on the positive side of things and showing the actual facts and debunking a lot of false information and giving to the gifts and go. Yeah, that's another really big one.
Look at that.
Thank you so much for that. Giving to the gifts and go.
Who's
That means a
advertising
lot
their gifts
more than
and
you could
go?
ever imagine.
But you
Morgan.
wanna
I
accuse
just
other
want to say
people
thank
of
you to all the
grifting
people
off
out there.
the situation.
I mean, I personally went through and looked at all the like. There's a prayer thing
Ooh,
you can
wait a minute.
you can say a prayer on there,
Yes.
and I personally went through and looked at all the.
They just advertise. They're advertising their Give, Send, Go. They've raised $167,924 thus far. The goal is $200,000, and they just minutes ago said that people are basically grifting off of this situation to make money. But you're advertising and asking people to donate to your Give, Send, Go. Wow. There's a good reason for that, sweetheart. Auntie Stella says, I don't understand why Crump turned down the offer by the Cajun Navy to have dogs check the boat. The reason that he had to turn it down is because he does not own the boat. He doesn't have the authority to accept that offer. That's the reason why he, had to take the stand that he did. He's not at liberty to accept that. The owners of the boat would be the ones to give that permission. And we know who owns the boats. Yeah, they're not going to do that. Because that doesn't benefit them, in my opinion. But they certainly put this one out there that what's his name's daddy started up for him. Excuse me. Primo says you're going to get crushed. Such confidence. Yeah, if that happens, it'll be solely based off of the simple fact of people being paid off. And tell me why the boat owner went black on internet. Let's see. Elena Crawford says, you all want it to be about race. All evidence points to the boy's innocence. I don't understand. What evidence? What evidence are you talking about? I haven't seen any. They haven't produced any evidence. These are words. Words are not evidence. Just because they said it don't make it so. Produce the evidence for us to see. It's very simple. Excuse me. D. Tajam said the Cajun Navy should ask the boat owner to bring the cadaver dogs. I'm sure they are welcome to do so because whose boat? I think it's Wyatt that owns two of the boats, and Bart owns the boat. So they would have to go to those young men to get permission to bring the cadaver dogs. And I'm wondering if that has even happened. We don't know. We don't know. Elena says no evidence they hurt their friend. Pics of boat after they left. Witness statements saying he didn't leave on the boat. Okay, so this is the interesting thing about the pictures of the boat. There's no metadata that has been produced to verify when those pictures were actually taken. And as far as witness statements are concerned, I have no comment about that. Where's the button?
Prayers, and
Sorry.
I'm just
Couldn't
really
find the button.
appreciative of all the people that I know that have our backs and have supported us through all of this. It's really helped us out.
That's great.
Oh, obviously I want to give thanks to my friends and my family. Really appreciate it. I mean, it's hard to.
Let's see. Fever blessed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tana Baby said, "Where's all the information from the social media that they deleted?" Apparently, there has been some communication between attorneys and God, who was that? There's a letter that Don Lemon actually showed on his show where they were trying to coordinate the phone information because, again, the parents do not trust the authorities in Mississippi, and they don't want to just hand it over to the authorities of Mississippi without a representative of their own being there to go through the phone. And that has not been coordinated yet. But there was a letter brought out today or yesterday, from the company, the attorney's office is handling that reminded them from previous conversations or letters that we are still waiting to, for some kind of coordination between both sides to go through this phone. So that's why nobody has actually been able to go through the phone yet, because one side is dragging and the other's waiting. Okay. Hold on just a second.
Get by every day without having a group of people behind you. It really helps my friend and I's, especially like mental side of things, knowing that we have a community behind us that is willing to stand for us and stand for the truth. And, we can't thank them enough. Like, seriously, with, like Morgan said, the prayers and just even the money and the gifts and go. It's a blessing from the Lord. And, we can't thank everybody enough. Seriously, it's been more than enough.
So, Ed, what are your thoughts on this? I know you see the outpouring of support for the boys. I know that obviously with your credentials, you're taking on this case, which is a huge undertaking, representing multiple young people in this, with so many people that you have mentioned that could be possibly going to get sued in this. So what would you like to say to the people about this?
Well, the most important thing is that these three outstanding young men who are completely innocent are worth standing behind. It's worth standing behind them. It's worth supporting them, because these three gentlemen here, they're going to go out into the world and they're going to do incredible things for society, right? These are three young men who want to help people and who are going to help people. They're just wonderful souls, wonderful human beings. So if you want someone to support, if you're looking for someone to support, and if you're looking for people who tell the truth and like evidence and common sense, you should support these guys, not the other guys who traffic in lies. All right. Now there's a Give, Send, Go page, right? Those donations are very important. We have an incredible legal team. I'm very, very privileged to be working with Tyler.
He said very, very privileged. Okay. Mel Gillum says, for what? There's no crime to lock them up for. I beg to differ. I mean, the simple fact that he had Nolan's phone and didn't bother to let the mother know can be considered withholding evidence. They have not yet established what happened to Nolan, so we can't say if a crime has actually happened in terms of how he is unalived. But honestly, I'm going to say it again. If the shoes were on another foot and three black dudes had a white boy's phone and he didn't come home but they had his phone, they would drag them brothers down to the police station and they would at least do 72 hours. Trust and believe. they would easily end up in there for 72 hours interrogation. Yes, Nolan left his phone in the boat. And who got the phone? And it's believed that Nolan was in the boat, but some say he wasn't in the boat. We don't know yet. See, people want to say that certain people are jumping to conclusions and all that stuff, but you guys are doing the same thing. Oh my God. Let me end this damn live, y'all.
Call Cox. Right. So, but we're going to be bringing powerhouse lawsuits. Powerhouse lawsuits. Absolutely powerhouse.
We will find out.
Right. It does require support. It requires support. And any support is greatly appreciated. But there are also things that people can do that have nothing to do with money. All we're asking people to do is embrace reality, embrace common sense, and don't give in to your worst impulses.
The video doesn't
do the
prove
research.
doggone thing because number one, there's no metadata to prove that that video was taken the day of. The video proves nothing because they have not been able to establish when that video / picture, panning picture was taken. And again, I'm going to say it, and whether you like it or not, if the tables were turned, you very people that are claiming these guys' innocence, you guys would be saying, throw them you-know-what's under the jail. Now, that's my opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, you can get on up the ramp.
At the evidence, right? Start judging credibility and look at the respective motivations, the motives on both sides, right? On one side, you have some folks who maybe are not motivated by such great things. But what we have on our side and why you should support us, one word for you. My favorite word, which is virtue.
They made it about
We've got virtue, all right? We've got the honesty. We've got the integrity, right? We're doing the right thing here. Honesty, integrity. That's us. Honesty, integrity, and the truth. And those are very high virtues.
Get out of my
and that's why you should support these incredible young men.
Well, thank you guys for agreeing to do an interview. I really, the purpose, and I think you guys can agree to this or lament to it, that the purpose is just to get the message out there. You know, I'm not an investigator in this case. I've done this for a living for a very long time. I know when people are lying and when they're not. And I want the world to know the only reason I'm even willing to talk to you guys is because you've shown through evidence that you've shown me and also through your character that you guys are trustworthy and you're at least in good faith telling me your side of the story. And so I just want to say thank you guys for doing the interview and good luck.
Thank you.
You just watched part 2 of an incredible interview. I know that you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoy real journalism and if you liked it, make sure you hit.
Okay. Let's see. Burning down the house says his friends didn't kill him. We don't even know if he was even murked. But I can tell you all of his buddies didn't decide to kill the kid. Just ridiculous. You know, that's a reasonable deduction. That's a reasonable deduction. However, you have to wonder if any of them were his friends. That's not to say that they did anything to him, but they kind of demonstrated in their own little way that he wasn't the friends that, or they weren't the friends to him that he thought they were. That doesn't mean they did anything to him. But, you know. Auntie Stella says the one thing worse than the racism in this case is that those people want to drag the Lord's name into it. That's taking his name in vain. Tana Baby Mister says, you know your friends come to your house, meet your mom, meet your dad, know your brother, know your sister. That's how I was raised. Yep, I agree with that. Time for Street Justice says, at the end of the day, all of them know what happened. Gary Robinson said the only thing the black race looking at, they came home and he didn't. To be honest, it don't even matter, supposedly. Oh, it does matter. It most definitely does matter. And I hope and pray that Mississippi will find a backbone and do the right thing. So with that said, you know what? I could play one more thing. If you want to hang out with just another minute, I do have one other video I can share with you. This was from Don Lemon. This was audio. This is talking about the phone and the fact that the phone has not been gone through yet. And there is an audio from one of the attorneys that I can share with you. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear that. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear this video about the phone and the letter that I think I mentioned the letter earlier. Okay. Let me hook it up for you. Give me just a second. Now, this was from Don Lemon this morning. And I won't give any commentary in the beginning. I'll let you guys listen for yourself. Because sometimes I may mess things up sometimes, and I may say the wrong thing the wrong way, and it's taken the wrong way. So I'll let you guys hear for yourself. Okay?
So I want to play this audio, and then we have an exclusive response from the law firm or the team that is representing the Nolan Wells case. This was on Dan Abrams' show. Dan Abrams on Sirius XM. You've been on this show. He's been on this show. He's a friend of the show. So I want you to listen to this and then the response from the legal team representing the Wells-Wansley family. Here it is.
Was Nolan Wells, were there messages missing out of his phone? And the second thing is
absolutely
photos
not.
have come out. Yeah, they're saying that there were messages missing off of his phone. His phone was wiped. And another thing, there's pictures of, like with the modern day with people with cell phones and social media, there's pictures with adults on that boat. There, and one of the adults they're even saying is like an affluent crowd of businessmen. They were saying it's just kids, but they're adults there.
Yeah.
Right, but here's the thing that they're saying. I don't know who the they is, but go ahead. Tyler, you want to take this one? Or
yeah,
Ed?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: I saw a headline a few weeks back that said Ben Crump and the family is going to allow the Jackson County Sheriff's Office access to Nolan's phone. You know what I never heard? I never heard him follow through with that. I have reason to believe, and I do believe, that they have not cooperated with law enforcement. I do not think that they have turned in Nolan's phone. And I'm willing to bet my reputation on that. I don't think they've cooperated at all. They do not have Nolan's phone. They haven't had access.
Okay, when he said that, that kind of gave me chills because it reminded me of when Chris Cuomo was flexing about information that he said he had that others didn't have or he was privileged to have, which is illegal. And not to say that this individual said that he had this information, but it just it gave me that same kind of vibe. Like, what does he's very confident in his statement. I'll put it like that. He said he would bet his career on it. So it was just, that struck me as odd.
To Nolan's phone, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department has it. So how can you say that there's text missing or there's photographs missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
Edward, go ahead.
I'll just add something. And again, this is why you have to
hold on, Andy. So just folks are asking what we're listening to. And again, I explained in the beginning, if you're not here in the beginning, you probably didn't know. This is an interview with the attorneys for the boys on Dan Abrams' Sirius XM show. And they are saying that the family has not turned over the phone, Nolan Wells' phone, and they are saying that to their knowledge, and that there were not any missing text messages or anything that was wiped or scrubbed. That's what they are saying. Okay, continue on just a little bit.
Ground there, or in the water. When I went to the island, when I was fortunate enough to have that opportunity on Friday.
Let's see. Romario said, yeah, that's a lie. The police took the phones and seen the messages. Y'all are just wanting to blame white people for everything. You hold that same energy. Stick around. Stick around for the rest of the video. I want to hear your response to that. Because what you just said ain't true. But I want you to keep that same energy when their information breaks your face into several pieces, hypothetically.
One of the things you notice right away is that there's no dock. There's not a boat launch. There's not a dock.
Okay, so what he's saying, so you heard what he said. He's saying that they haven't turned over, that they have not cooperated, and that now he's and to his knowledge that has not happened. So I don't know what they're insinuating or whatever. Okay, and he's saying there was not a dock, so what you had to do, he says in this, is you swim 50 or 100 feet to go in, and most people don't want to bring their phones in or what have you. So now we had this. I don't think we explained this yesterday enough, and I didn't realize it was an exclusive when I got it, to be quite honest with you. And then the team reached out and said, you're the only one who has this, and we're going to release it later on this afternoon. And so this is the letter from the attorneys who are representing the family. And as we do this, I want to tell you, we're going to bring in Charles from TMZ in just moments, and he's going to discuss this and other updates. But it says, please be advised that A.R. Smith Law PLLC has been retained to serve as a local counsel for the estate and family of Nolan Wells. Moving forward, I will be working alongside the legal team at the Ben Crump, and he goes on to say that. And it says, as a legal team has stated previously, including during our in-person meeting with Wells family and counsel, we have been and remain ready and willing to cooperate, arranging a joint forensics inspection of Nolan Wells' personal cell phone. During that meeting, we specifically discussed having an examination conducted through the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as the possibility of FBI involvement in that process. Our position has not changed. We are prepared to coordinate a mutually agreeable date and procedure for the examination of the phone. Accordingly, to the extent there has been any suggestion that we have been unwilling to have or have failed to cooperate with the investigation. We want to make it clear, that this is not the case. You also previously indicated that Dr. Mitchell would be provided an opportunity to review the materials necessary for him to complete an autopsy review. We remain prepared to facilitate that process. Please provide us with available dates and times for Dr. Mitchell to review those materials, along with any instructions necessary to arrange his access. We would like to move both of these matters forward promptly and remain available to coordinate with your office. Very truly yours, Ahmed R. Smith, which is A.R. Smith, Attorneys LLC. Okay, thank you for that, for sending that to us. Okay, so here is who I want to bring in, Charles Lataboutier, from his executive producer from TMZ. Charles.
Sorry, he's not. Like he walked away for a second. He'll be right back.
Oh, he walked.
Okay, you guys, this is the letter. I'm going to try to blow this up as best I can so you guys can read it. Hold on just a second. Man, that's as big as it's going to go. Hold on, let me try again. Bear with me, you guys. I want you guys to be able to see it. Man, it's not working out very good. But he's going to read it, so here we go.
Walked away. Okay. Well, we'll get Charles on in a minute. So anyway, yesterday when we got this information, we reached out to the law firm. They have since said that they won't come on and discuss it. It was in the letter, whatever's in that letter, that's what it is. And basically this letter is saying that they have been communicative, that they have done whatever it is, a due process or whatever. But it is interesting, I'll just be honest, that the phone has not been turned over. Now, I understand that the family has concerns about the process. They have concerns about the investigative techniques that are being used, or as they said, not being used. And so they may be unwilling to do it because they, not having trust in the authorities there. However, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I don't know what that means. Does that mean anything for the family or for for the investigators? I am not sure. It's interesting though. That this grieving mom and the folks who are in the investigators are sort of being pitted against each other. Here's Charles. Charles, I'm not sure. Are you there? Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you, Don.
Hey, Charles, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Listen, I just, these details seem to be coming in this case. You never know when they're going to come. Again, I don't know if you heard me reading the letter and now, this was sent out.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
What do you make of this?
I mean, it sounds like the family, I think you nailed it, saying that they're willing to work with the authorities, but they don't trust the authorities. And what I heard, the key thing there is they said they're willing to do a joint forensic examination of the phone. It does sound like they have been holding on to the phone. They don't want to give it to the authorities and let them and leave it to their device, to them to do their process without having their own investigator there at the same time. So it sounds like, basically what they're saying is we'll hand over the phone, but we're going to send our forensic investigator too, and they will sit there with your investigators and go through the phone. But it doesn't sound like they're willing to just hand over the phone and let the authorities do whatever they want with it.
Mm-hmm. So, but it seems, in some of these things, Charles, it seems like a long time, right? I mean, you and I were discussing what happened with some of the other high-profile cases and the toxicology reports and all of that, the autopsy reports, all the things. These things don't happen as quickly as people would think in real life, right? It's not like Law and Order where the case is solved and you get all the information within, an hour, 45-minute period.
No, it's definitely not like that. And, we were just talking about it this morning. before our morning meeting that it's coming up on, I believe, 7 weeks now. And next week will be 7 weeks. And typically it's around that 7 to 8 week period where you start expecting that there could be toxicology results coming out. Not before that, but every department around the country is different. I'm basing that mostly on cases that we've covered here in LA, but I can't speak to how the process works down in Ocean Springs. But around 8 weeks is when you could say, what's going on here. And obviously, people have wanted the autopsy results, the toxicology results. They wanted it, 2 days after Nolan's body was found. Just doesn't work that way. But if this thing drags on to beyond 10 weeks, beyond 12 weeks, people are really going to start asking questions. And the question is going to be, and I understand why the sheriff has not wanted to discuss a lot of what's going on in this case. It's an open investigation, and I get that. But you also got to be realistic about the fact that this is an incredibly high profile case with a lot of attention around the country, and is creating a lot of divisiveness around the country. So, at some point you would think the sheriff has got to come out and say, look, here's where we are. We know everyone wants these results, but we just don't have it yet. And here's what's happening in our lab. They tell us it could be, give people a range or something so they have some expectations. But, that's not happening. And I don't think that it should have happened up to this point. I'm saying that in the next couple of weeks, if we don't hear anything, people are going to get very antsy, more so than they have been.
Charles, you've been saying, and now people are finally coming around. I don't know if you remember, I said that there should be a regular cadence of information that is being released or debunked from the investigators, right? Or we can't say that. And that is not happening. So in my opinion, they are helping to fuel this environment of people who are speculating and just, filling in the void here, filling in the void online. So I agree with you 100%.
I'm going to have to agree with that. The handling of this case is what's really, really fueling this whole issue. I think if they were handling this properly, because to be truthful about it, it shouldn't be this nasty. I'll put it like that. That ball got dropped in the very beginning. Uh-oh, what happened to the cursor? Okay, there it is.
I'm not saying that they have to come out every single day, but there should be some sort of, update, on the situation.
Yeah, I understand why you feel that way, Don, but I think from law enforcement side, you go, if we're going to come out and start debunking every theory that pops up online, then you got to pick and choose which ones. It becomes this slippery slope. Why did you debunk this one and not that one? Then people think that that's giving credence to the one that they didn't debunk.
Thank you. After Show Cafe, Danny Robertson. How are you, love? Thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. Thank you so much, love. And welcome.
Maybe they just didn't see that one.
I agree with you 100%.
There are just so many theories.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying every single one. I just think that there should, this some sort of right. When was the last time there was an update, Charles? Wasn't it like when the sheriff came out and said it looks like an accident? We're looking at this as accidental. That was the last one that I've seen. So I think we're on the same page with this one. I agree with you. Not every single thing, but just in terms of, you saw the letter there from the attorneys. I just want to show people when they're basically what they're describing. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I have done these stories a lot. Is what's called a filter team, FILTER team, or they call it a taint team. And if you look on your screen now, you'll see what that means, Charles, because this is not an unusual process. A filter team or a taint team, whatever, consists of prosecutors or agents selected to review material seized in the course of an enforcement action to determine whether any of the materials are protected by the attorney-client privilege. These reviewers are specifically not a part of the prosecution team handling the enforcement action in which the search warrant was used. The taint team members are able to review the seized materials to determine whether any documents or communications are subjected to the protections of attorney-client privilege or the attorney work product doctrine. The guiding principle is the concern that exposure of the prosecuting team to privileged material may result in the exclusion of evidence should the matter come to trial or even the disqualification of the prosecutor. So basically what they're saying is they want an independent third party to be able to analyze this. I know
Right.
that, you know, Harvey is the lawyer here, but you've been dealing with these
Right.
cases. So this is not an unusual process in my opinion.
So that pretty much explains why they haven't gone through this phone yet, because both sides need to be present when it's done. And I mean, I don't blame the parents one bit. I wouldn't trust the state of Mississippi as far as I could throw them. So, you know, they're not going to hand anything over to them without having their own representative there as well, because they do not trust the state of Mississippi. And for anybody that knows Mississippi, you would probably agree. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Oh, I'm trying to keep up with this chat. Hold on just a second.
No, not unusual at all. It is a necessary step that they would be taking in the background here. But so little, anything that happens here is not going to be in the background when the attorneys get involved. And you're right, people shouldn't read too much into this. You know, it's interesting, they talk about the possibility down the road of prosecution. We don't know. We don't know if there's going to be a prosecution here. We don't know that there's been a crime committed. We just don't know anything.
Dudebird, from what I gather from the letter, it is in the possession of the attorneys. So the parents do not have the actual phone in their possession. It's turned over to the attorneys that are handling Nolan's estate.
Certainly, I fully understand why a large number of people feel like there was a crime. But the reality is we just don't know at this point. So don't read too much into the fact that you've seen this letter to them talking about prosecution and talking about potential evidence. We just don't know yet.
Okay, moderators, please. When you see jackasses come in here and make stupid shit statements, please boot them out of here. I'm doing this on my own. I can't do it all. Please.
Yeah, and this all comes back to getting the toxicology, the autopsy results. And you know, you're right, Don, that the sheriff seems to be ignoring the fact, and you could say from one viewpoint that this is commendable on his part, that he's not caving to public pressure, but you could also look at it and say that he's sort of burying his head in the sand and acting like this isn't a huge story with national importance. You could have a news conference where you come out and acknowledge that and say, yes, we've seen there a bunch of theories out there, but we can't start just, you know, optics matter. Optics matter when you have a case at this level. And the sheriff could really be helping himself out and his department out by acknowledging that. I'm not saying he's got to come forward and start debunking theories, but optics matter when you can have a news conference where you acknowledge, say this to people and explain why you're not debunking and explain why you can't talk about the evidence that you have or don't have or the witnesses that you've spoken to. All those things make a difference and might calm down the public pressure on his department, on the ME's department to actually come forward with some results.
Just one thing, because I know you're very busy. So you guys have I think you had an exclusive with one of the interviews. And also there was this, I think Nancy Grace reported that there was a new fight, but if you look at the Cajun Navy's report, it appears to be the same fight that was mentioned in that. Was there a new fight? And
okay, they're going off into the Cajun Navy. That has nothing to do with the phone or anything like that. So I'm going to stop it right here. So yeah, you guys, you everybody's grown in here. You come up with your own, your own deductions. Okay. Come up with your own deductions. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for all the comments. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe if you'd like to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support, whether you hit the like button or not. I appreciate your being here. And thank you for all your input. Again, this is just something that's going to have to stay out there in the atmosphere until we get answers. Because we're not getting the answers we're entitled to. I mean, honestly. But one thing is for sure, it sure has opened up a can of worms as to, people really showing what they really feel. We got somebody in office that has made it very comfortable for people to come out and be just as racist as all get up on both sides. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the live. You guys have a wonderful evening and God bless you. Take care. Bye.
Hey there, my kinfolk. Thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. Feels like family here in this sweet show. So let's keep it flowing, keep the love alive. Every moment together makes me thrive. You're more than viewers, you're my kinfolk. You see my gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight. No matter where you're from, near or far, you're our shining star. Just who you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, and keep the love inside. Auntie Mickey's house, where it feels just right. Until next time.